Hello, welcome. You're back with Rosalia here, Rosalia Lazara from Manuka Media, the host of The Money Honey, the podcast that brings together women in finance, construction, and property. All three industries that I've been in. I've worked in construction, I now work in finance. I've got a family with a property portfolio, and I've obviously done a lot of property deals. I've done property networking. So, yeah, I've seen all those three industries, and I have still a lot of years in me, a lot of years left in me to go and to still experience how this industry is going to change, how I'm going to make an impact. And that's exactly what this show is about is, if only 10 people after I'm gone remember this show, then my job is done. Maybe if only one person says, oh gosh, that show that I used to watch, really helped me set my day up and prepare for the day, then that's my job done. So if you are listening to this and this does support you and you've been up to date with all the speakers and you do love this show, then please give us a little thumbs up. We're on Spotify and YouTube. We want to grow the channel because we want to reach more women out there. We want to show women, hey, here's more women on the screen, and hey, you can be a woman on the screen as well. That's what the point of this show is. Now, my guest for today that I'm really excited to bring on the show is someone that I was only just recently introduced to. And I think it's really fair to say that she's been quietly successful in the shadows, in the background. I certainly don't see much of her publicly. She's not a loud and out there person. And I wanted to make a comment on that because there is something in the quietly successful people that really needs to be brought to the surface. But confidence isn't loud. You don't have to be a loud person to be confident, okay? There are different flavors, different styles of confidence. And Jacqueline here, Jackie Durbin from Iress, who's going to be on the show today, was again introduced to me by a side project we're working on with Iress. Okay, so that's how I that's how I met her. She's been on a show of mine before, a separate one, not The Money Honey, and I wanted to bring her on this one. When I met her in the project that we're doing, I was like, you have to come and speak on The Money Honey show because people need to see people like you, right? You don't need to just see people like me who's just shouty and energetic and loud and and bubbly, but we need to see more people like Jackie. She's the head of product of life, pensions, mortgages at Iress. She was recently shortlisted as a finalist for the Inspirational Leader at the upcoming Cover Women in Protection and Health Awards in 2023. By the way, she's invited me, so I'm out there shopping for my yellow dress. I'm trying to see what I could wear so that I could sit next to her proud and cheer her on. So I was very honored that she invited me to be there with her. But Jackie's passionate about innovation and initiating technology enhancements that address the real issues and opportunities within the industry. She has an empathetic approach to building high-functioning teams and helps empower individuals to succeed with purpose and integrity. I mean, that is just beautiful. She brings the balance of strategy with empathy, the balance of innovation with progress and supporting individuals to, wherever they are in their journey. She's an advocate for cross-industry collaboration. She proactively facilitates opportunities for businesses to work together for better outcomes that are efficient, that can scale and evolve and solve problems. Her product-led approach to software innovation and enhancements with research and collaboration, driving design, helps ensure clients, partners, and end users benefit from the company's ongoing future software development. So I think we need to bring her on the show and hear it from her. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Rosalia. That was a very nice introduction. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you are welcome, because reading that on paper can feel really, really black. You're like, yeah, that's me. But then when you hear it from someone else, I just hope you heard just how extraordinary your career has been.
Thank you. I kind of liked the quietly successful element to that. And I was like, yeah, you kind of maybe summed me up there.
Yeah, is that a good assessment? I've only met you twice.
I'm not out there, and I just like to get on with my own work, and do the things that I need to do to be successful. Slightly out of my comfort zone coming in on a podcast, but actually I'm really excited to do it and have a conversation with you. So thank you for inviting me on.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. Because firstly, thank you for wearing a pink orange jumper. Very in theme, very on theme with the show. For those listening, just to the audio, Jackie and I are both wearing orange jumpers, and the whole Money Honey theme is, the ombre orange and pink. So yeah, thank you for being on brand. No, but I just wanted to say that I'm currently reading a book called Ego is the Enemy, right? And I was thinking about you coming on the show, and like you just said, I just get on with my work. And there's a lot of people out there, me included, like, let's face it, because obviously my job is very out there. Like, I have to be very public. I have to be very vocal. That's social media for you. And it's just really interesting. This book, Ego is the Enemy, is about recognizing, right, do you want the fame, or do you just want to do the work? Like, do you just want to achieve the results and not the fame? And that's kind of sums you up. It's like, you're just doing the work, but you're not talking about the work that you're doing.
Yeah, I get satisfaction from, a job well done, whether that's me or my team, that's what drives me. And so I have to come out of my comfort zone a little bit to talk about the things that I'm doing and my team are doing. So I can go, do you know what, actually, this is really good. I'm really proud of what we've achieved here. But it's not a natural, I've had to teach myself to do that a little bit more, and I've had to sort of encourage myself there. But yeah, it is about the work.
Yeah, it totally is. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely do not want the fame. The last thing I want is the big, like, attention on a global scale. I know I've kind of got that from an industry scale. I know I can walk into a room and network with a lot of financial advisors, and I know a lot of people. And that's slightly different. But yeah, it's the work that I do that has to be spoken about. What do you think about the balance, though, of doing the job that you're doing, the job well done, and then you could be at one end of the scale and keeping it to yourself, and then at one end of the scale and screaming and shouting about it from the rooftops. But how do you use the work that you do and the voice that you have and the senior position that you're in to still communicate, inspire, and lead? Because you have to talk about it somehow, right? So how do you find that balance then?
Yeah, so it's probably different in terms of leadership within my organization and my teams, and then that external sort of client relationship aspect. But in general, it's really important to me to be myself. I can't be a different type of person. Yes, I can, if I'm going into an event or hosting an event, you've got to be confident, and you've got to portray that most confident side of you. But I think generally I'm just myself, and what you see, is what you get with me. And that's important to me, whether that's internal or external, that I have that honesty and integrity, and that I am myself. But you do have to push yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit. You in order to succeed, in order to share what you're doing and what your team are doing, and to grow your relationship. So it is a fine balance. But yeah, I guess I'm just me.
Yeah, that's lovely, Jackie. But you've obviously reached a senior position, head of product. I'm sure you've got lots of questions, lots of speaking engagements that you have to do both internally and externally. And maybe those building their careers at the moment, listening to this show, thinking, oh, we need more women in leadership positions. I want to be in a leadership position. How does confidence play a part in that, in owning that leadership position? Because you can get there because you're good at your job, but you need to have other qualities as well to be a leader, don't you? What does that look like?
Yeah, in fact, someone said to me yesterday, someone I was just having a chat with who was having a bit of a career crisis themselves, or confidence crisis themselves. They were like, Jackie, you're always confident. You always, look like you're on top of things and organized. And I'm like, yeah, it's not always how I'm feeling, but it is important to, and it's not about faking that confidence. It's just digging deep and having a little bit of that confidence in yourself. And I think I've had to learn that throughout the years, and I've got that through experience in doing lots of different roles, being thrown in the deep end in different roles, and you have just got to get on with things. And sometimes I think, what's the worst thing that can happen out of doing this, and actually what's the best thing that could happen out of it? So feel the fear and do it anyway is kind of my approach to things. And I hope that I might not be an extrovert, but I'm as quietly confident, right? And I think you've got to have confidence in your own abilities, and what you do well.
Yeah, so a good book, by the way, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, for anyone who...
I can't say I've read it. I'm more just go with the tagline.
You're definitely living proof that it works. But yes, it is a good book. Feel the fear and do it anyway. But I think that's what you're saying. A skill that comes with whether you're an extrovert or an introvert, is that when you are in a senior position, you are so exposed to some engagements that are out of many people's comfort zone, like public speaking or big meetings, big decisions that need to be made, hosting an event. I imagine it's probably, even though it's in a fun environment, but you being nominated for the awards, having to get dressed up, having to host a table, maintain conversation. Are you nervous about that at all? Do you get nervous going to events?
I'm not nervous at all about going to the event in terms of hosting the table, and that's going to be fun. I really like chatting to people on the one-on-one. The worst bit to me is walking into the room sometimes. Like, as you were saying, you can walk into the room and everybody, and you've built those relationships. Because I've been on the technology side, I've not been in that sort of provider or distribution BDM type role. I don't know everybody. I have sort of good relationships with sort of, quite a broad range of people across the industry. But as you say, I'm not, a well-known industry figure from that perspective. So that bit can be a little bit overwhelming if you don't know lots of people at that event, and you've just kind of got to go in there. But again, just be myself and have conversations with people. And the other bit that would make me feel uncomfortable is being nominated myself. I happily go there and cheer on the rest of my team and the rest of the women nominated. But that's a bit that, it makes me a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
But then I should just go, well, just celebrate. It's really lovely to have been nominated by other people. And then it's amazing to actually have made the finalist list. So yeah, I'll try to enjoy myself.
Absolutely. I think, firstly, you said you get nervous walking into a room because you don't know anybody. I actually get nervous walking into a room because I know everybody.
Right.
And people don't think I am nervous, right? But I know I don't look nervous because I've just walked in like with a yellow ball gown. So you think, oh gosh, that's part of the feel the fear and do it anyway. That's my action. And you can call it dress up or faking it till you make it. It's not true. Like, I'm digging deep, like you just said. I'm doing things to help myself pluck up the courage. Like, you have to practice confidence. It doesn't just come to you. So me putting on a branded look, like, having a yellow dress and doing my hair and my makeup and, getting my business cards ready is all part of the process of getting ready and being confident. But trust me, as soon as I get out of that taxi, I'm like approached by someone, someone will say, are you Roz from LinkedIn? I'm like, oh my gosh, what are they going to say? Are they going to like me? Like, like what? It is really nerve-wracking, actually. And I know I don't look nervous, but I totally am, being on my own, because I'll probably arrive on my own and then I'll just be looking for you, like, Jackie, please come find me. And then I'll be fine, because I'll be there for you. That's what I'm coming for. I'm coming there for you. And I think that really helps. I don't know if anyone listening agrees with that, but I think when you're doing something for someone else, you have that courage comes, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Whether that's setting an example for someone, or you're doing it for them. It's interesting what you're saying about, you know, the preparation and the organization, because that's absolutely key. And I also sometimes think that's more so for women. Like, I want to make sure that I'm appropriately dressed, right? It doesn't have to be the best dressed. You know, I'm not all about the designer wear, but I have to be appropriate for that audience. So, you know, it's really important to me what they say the dress code is. Is it business casual? Is it, you know, what does that actually mean? And it's so silly, but it's something that actually takes up quite a lot of mental energy in all these events for women, and making sure that they, you know, feel good about themselves. So it's an interesting one. Oh, it is a bit easier for guys who can just slap on a suit, the same suit.
Yeah, the same suit every time, and it looks different for some reason. But I think you're quite right. Actually, a lot of men, by the way, do hate going to these events. I remember when I was a BDM and working for a lender, and I used to host these tables, and I would want to invite my clients and prospective clients. And I'd say, oh, would you like to, obviously I was new in the industry, so all these events were new to me, and I was, you know, had that beginner's excitement.
Energy.
Yeah, that beginner's energy. And they were like, oh, nah, you know, I don't want to come and dress up like a penguin at these events. And it's all the big people that just win all the time. And, you know, and yeah, and you just think, yeah, but it's just me and you. We're just going to have this is the venue. Like, you and I, you're just going to sit next to me. You might hate the concept of the venue or the concept of the show or the event, but it's just an opportunity for you and I to have dinner and have a drink where, you know, I'm only, so that's what these events are really great for, is just to be able to connect on a level that you probably wouldn't outside of, you know, during work time anyway. So I'm really looking forward to spending the evening with you guys at Iress, actually.
Yeah, got a great table. It's going to be good fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So anyway, gravitating the conversation towards, you know, more about women in finance and women in leadership, especially. How does that play out in your world, from your perspective? How do you see the concept of women in leadership or women in finance? Is that something that you have to consciously think about on a daily basis? Do you not notice it? Do the people in your team raise that kind of concern to you at all?
So I guess I'm more on the finance and technology side, but it's the same sort of questions. So I think lots has changed since I started, you know, my career. I think I'm lucky to work for an organization which is fairly balanced and is good at promoting, well, it doesn't have to be just females, it's about equality in roles. I think there is still, and I think there's been quite a few reports out recently about, you know, how many females are actually on the top position in the top boards. That is still an issue, right? It's getting better, but I don't think we can, you know, ignore the work that still needs to happen to make sure that everybody has all the equal opportunities, and that the structures and support around career development are tailored towards the individual. Like, not everyone's path is the same. Not every type of leader is the same. And I think that's quite an interesting perspective for me in terms of what type of leader I am and what type of leader I'm seen as. And I don't think I have to be the same as a, you know, traditional alpha male leader. I'm never going to be that. And as I said before, it's about being true to myself. However, I have over the years consciously had to adapt and change my approach to things, whether that genuinely, I think I speak with a lower voice when I'm in a meeting and I need to try to, you know, have my voice heard and things like that. And I do wonder sometimes how much harder I feel like I have to work for my opinion to count, just from that perception of seniority, because I'm not this, you know, dominating character. I have to just make sure that I present my views thoroughly, and there's still an element where, do I have to work harder to be heard?
So this concept of speaking loud, speaking quiet. It's not just a male trait. You know, there's obviously women that speak very loudly. There's men that speak very quietly, actually. But I really like something that you have, right, that I don't have. I'm very loud, okay? And I think that just comes with my passport because I'm Italian. So I think that's just part of me, right? But there's a saying, and I really can't remember, right? I was trying to look for it right now. I can't remember who said it, but they said, speak so quietly that they have to listen up. Because you're so quiet, not you, but like be so quiet that they have to force themselves to listen. And often we find that loud people just end up getting louder because they think that's the way to be heard. And then the other loud person in the office is shouting over them. And then you get Jackie. I can imagine you in a meeting being like, what do I think? And everyone's like, shh, shh. Like, we have to listen because like you are quiet, but you hold the power in that. Do you notice that?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I still interrupt in meetings when I shouldn't, so I'm not entirely as quiet as you think I might be.
No, but in the soft, I don't know what word to use, but in the calm approach, like you say what you have to say without being overly like loud.
Until I get something that I'm really passionate about, and then I won't drop it.
So we haven't seen that side yet, guys. There's another side to Jackie that we don't know about. But
I'm worried that if some of my colleagues are listening to this, they'll be like, she's not that quiet. She's not that unassuming.
Okay.
Yeah, there are different sides to me, and clearly they come out at different points. But yeah, I do like to consider what I'm going to say before I say it, and yeah, hopefully people listen.
Yeah, no, that I know they do, because the reason I was introduced to you is because you have big fans of Jackie, right? Big fans, and I don't know, can I mention him? I can mention him, can't I?
Sure.
Yeah, Neil and Imran, right?
Yeah.
Neil and Imran from Iress. Obviously, they're massive fans of Jackie. And when I was doing this project, when working with Neil, he was like, oh, you need to speak to Jackie. You need to speak to Jackie. Like, Jackie is. Oh, and have you heard of Jackie? And I was like, okay, well, introduce me to Jackie then. And it was just so nice to see that. I didn't see it as a male female thing. I just saw it as like just a team supporting each other.
Yeah. And that's really lovely to hear. And that's the type of thing where, I wouldn't be going, oh yeah, I need to speak to Rod, speak to me. But actually it's lovely that they would do that because they think that I've got something to say.
Absolutely. Yeah, they were like, yeah, you need to speak to Jack, we need to get her on the podcast. And when we were doing the videos about industry voice, they were like, no, Jackie should be the spokesperson, Jackie should be on the video, Jackie should be the one that voices and announces this new this new project. And I was just like, okay, like, can't wait to meet Jackie. And that's just that's why you're here, because you have made a big dent, and you have made an impact to not only your company, but the people outside that want to hear from you. So what would you, so just bringing, before we come to an end, I wanted to ask, how do you keep that balance from being in such an intense industry that is technology, science, finance? Like, how do you then nurture yourself and look after yourself and restore that balance? How do you do it?
Well, I haven't worked full-time hours since I had my first child. That's like 17 years ago. So I've always done, I work like a 9-day fortnight at the moment. And to be honest, that is hard, and it brings challenges because you have to manage effectively a full-time workload, but having a little bit of time for myself outside of all the other things I need to do for my family and work has been key. And I've been, I sometimes say, I've been fortunate to be able to do that, but actually I worked quite hard, really hard, to negotiate those reduced hours when I came back from my first child, and to maintain that and to grow my career. So So that gives me a bit of sanity, right? That gives me a little bit of time. And I don't do anything that exciting with my time off, to be fair. But even if it's time to go to the gym, then and time for myself, then that helps.
Ladies, if that is not a money honey, I don't know what is. Now, that is the true definition of breaking barriers, progress. I mean, we've just witnessed right here that you are part-time in a senior position with a family. You still maintained a smashing career. I'm sure your family is great. I've never met your family, but I'm sure they're all well and happy and safe and but you've done that. Like, that is what we are all debating about, women equality and equity, and we need to see, but you've done it. You've done in your own world, right? Maybe it's not on a global scale. It's not on, not everyone feels like you feel, but it just goes to show that you said the key word there, you negotiated, right? And that's where we're at, isn't it? We're negotiating our flexibility, our time, our family work-life balance. But I guess a man would have to negotiate that as well, like if a guy was a single parent and said, I need to look after, they would still have to negotiate, wouldn't they?
Absolutely. And I think it is easier to do that. And I certainly have got examples where I'm promoted to my team. Reduced hours is not just a female thing. It's not just a parental thing as well. It's about what you need to do in your life to be successful. So you can't be successful in work unless you're really successful, rounded as a person. I think you need to feel happy. And, I talk about balance quite a lot. And I know work-life balance is perhaps an overused phrase, and you can't have it all. You've got to decide what's important to you and try to work at that. But I've had to negotiate with myself. I've had to really think about and work hard with myself to not feel guilty when I'm not in the office 5 days a week. And that has been years in progress, to get to the point now where I can choose on my day off to work a little bit or not work a little. That's up to me. But before, when the kids were young, it was really difficult. And I used to beat myself up all the time about not being able to get to, I live 2.5 hours away from London, not being able to get to London for a 9 o'clock meeting and having to hide that. It's because I need to do the school run. So I've been through all those difficult times. And I feel I'm relieved that now as an industry, things have changed. So people can talk about doing the school run. They can talk about their family lives and the things they have to balance. And I think the pandemic has further helped that as well. So it's not about having it all. It's about working out what works for you as an individual, I think.
Yeah, 100%, Jackie. I think that's been the favorite part of our conversation, literally just now, about how you've been through the rough times. You've been through the times where you had to feel like you maybe had to hide or, hide your family life from your work life. You had to negotiate with yourself. I think that's key, guys. If you're taking notes or mental notes, I think I really like this concept of negotiating with yourself. Like, who is it that you want to be? What is it that you want to have? Like, do you want to be that person in the office till 9 o'clock at night? Or do you want to be that person that's on the sofa with the kids? Or do you want to be in the gym? Like, who do you want to be? And I think that's negotiating that I have to do with myself as a business owner. You think, oh yeah, business owners just do whatever they want, whenever they want. No, we've still got the mindset and the attitude. I'm trying to uneducate myself from the employee mindset that I had. So when I was an employee, I felt like I had a business mindset. That's why I knew I had the fire to be able to get myself into business. Now that I'm a business owner, I'm like, oh, I can see that employee habit that I used to have. And I have to negotiate with myself with, no, Ros, yesterday you were gallivanting around the UK, like you're traveling up and down the country, filming it's okay to feel like I get what I call like emotional hangovers, like when I've had such a good day and I've been filming a client and we've had such an energetic day. The next day I'm like on a low because not because I'm depressed or I'm sad, because I've got no energy. Like, and I need to give myself that time off.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
but it's not something that just happens overnight, is it? No. You recognize it in yourself, and then actually trying to work on that and allow yourself that time, I think, is different as well.
Absolutely.
So it sounds like you're getting there, though.
I am. It's a constant like daily practice. It's catching myself. It's just being aware. So, you know, being aware and having that internal dialogue with myself, saying, you know, do you actually want this? Is this what you even started a business for? Like, to never, like, you know, to not give yourself a duvet day or things like that. You know, that's what we need to negotiate with ourselves. So, guys, give Jackie a huge thumbs up if you're listening to this. You know, support her episode, share it with anyone else that you think might have benefited from this. And if you got something out of this, if you got a lesson, a top tip, I'd love for you to drop it in the comments, share it, because you're listening with a different perspective, with a fresh perspective. So I'd love to know what you got out of today's episode. And I'm sure, Jackie, you'd be happy for anyone to follow you on you and Iress on
LinkedIn. Yeah,
on LinkedIn. Is that okay?
Absolutely,
Yeah?
Of course it is.
Brilliant.
Yeah, happy to answer any questions as well, or follow up. That'd be great.
Yes, yeah, love that. Thank you for opening yourself up to this, to the audience, to me, for having this one-to-one conversation with me as well. I will obviously see you at the event.
Looking forward to it
soon. I'm very much looking forward to that. And thank you again for tuning in. To the regular listeners who are coming back, speaker after speaker, thank you again for being part of the show. And if you're new, please check us out on, if you're listening on YouTube, we're on Spotify. If you're on Spotify, we're on YouTube. But you can also follow the Manuka Media Instagram page, where these episodes will be published, and you can follow the speakers on there as well. Or you can follow me on LinkedIn, just like Jackie, but I'm Rosalia Lazara on LinkedIn. I'll put all this in the show notes, but thanks again for tuning in.